This is a house of blues today. That's because the king of New Orleans blues has brought the sound to D.C. Grammy and Country Music Award-winning artist and actor Chris Thomas King is here and unplugged. Washington Full Circle starts right now.
Where you go has it harder than ever been before. People are drifting from door to door, can't find no heaven, I don't care where they go.
Born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Chris Thomas King has blues in his blood. He's a multi-talented, award-winning blues artist, producer, composer, and actor. Having sold more than 10 million records in the U.S., he's a leading blues guitarist of his generations. Critics say he's the real deal. Thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate your stopping by.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
First of all, before the albums, before the awards, before the films, you grew up with blues in your blood. Tell us about where that started.
Well, literally, because my father, his name was Rockin' Tabby Thomas. He was a blues musician.
Wait a minute, Rockin' Tabby Thomas.
Rockin' Tabby Thomas. And, you know, so my dad, he was a recording artist. He recorded he had a hit in 1961 with a song called The Hoodoo Party. And he opened a juke joint in Baton Rouge near the river called Tabby's Blues Box. And as a teenager, that was the family business. So whether I wanted to be there on a weekend or not, I was there. And my family, we had that business for 25 years.
Wow.
And so that was my introduction into the culture, into the culture of blues music.
And then later on, you actually got to perform with your father sometimes. Is that true?
Yeah, I recorded with him, I performed with him, but moreover, a lot of the elder blues musicians that were in the area, they all gravitated to this place. It was like our social club, so to speak. And so as a young kid, I got a chance to perform with so many great artists. Matter of fact, Buddy Guy, who is one of the leading blues artists, and he's world renowned today, he used to play with my dad. You know, he's from Baton Rouge as well. He used to play with my dad before he moved to Chicago. And so I was steeped in it, as you say.
Actually, there's a photo right here of B.B. King and yourself on screen.
Yeah.
Yes. So give us an idea of when you first knew that, okay, I think I've got this stuff now.
Man, my ego is manic depressive. So there's times when I think, man, I'm a giant, you know, and there's other times when I'm like, man, I'm never gonna get it, you know.
Yeah.
But as a young kid, after I began, you know, guitar really was the thing that pulled me.
Mm-hmm.
I started on the trumpet, I played the piano, I played different instruments, then I got to the guitar, and that was my, it felt like an extension of myself.
Right.
So once I gravitated to the guitar, then you start hearing guitars, you know, you hear the Jimi Hendrixes, you hear, you know, Wes Montgomery, you hear Lightning Hopkins, you hear B.B. King, you know, you hear so many great artists, and you want to figure out how they make the guitar speak.
Right.
And then I learned that through rock and roll, there's a lot of great rock and roll guitars. But then I found out that a lot of the music that they were playing came right from my backyard, so to speak. So then I had you know, my interest in the blues got a little more intense.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you know, I want to tell you about something. Chris Thomas King made his acting debut in what was one of my favorite films. It's called Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It was directed by the Coen brothers and stars George Clooney and brought Chris's blues talents to the silver screen. I want you to take a look at this clip.
Thanks for the lips, sir. My name's Tommy Johnson.
How you doing, Tommy? Say, I haven't seen a house out here for miles. What are you doing out in the middle of nowhere?
Well, I had to be at that there crossroads last midnight. Sell my soul to the devil.
Well, ain't it a small world, spiritually speaking? Pete and Delmer just been baptized and saved. I guess I'm the only one that remains unaffiliated.
This ain't no laughing matter, Everett.
What'd the devil give you for your soul, Tommy?
When they taught me to play this here guitar real good.
Now, we know that's make-believe, but what it did was to allow millions of viewers to see and listen to that authentic sounding blues. That I think it was recorded live on the film. It was the only thing that was done that way.
Yeah, T-Bone Burnett, the music producer, he wanted to capture it live like an old field recording, like the John Lomax and those folklorists used to do.
Right.
And that's one reason I was cast, because they could have gotten, you know, there was lots of great actors that would have loved to have a role like that. And it was my acting debut in major motion pictures. And one of the reasons I got the role is because I could bring that kind of realism to the role. So when you see me singing at the campfire, singing Hard Time Killing for Blues, that's it. I mean, that's like live tape rolling, and the crickets are real, and you know, the whole thing. And I think that was that moment in the film where the audience was at the movie theater and there's like, wait a minute, is this real, or was there was a little bit of magic there?
Exactly.
I didn't exactly moonwalk, but
yeah,
you know, it was a little magic going on.
It was fantastic. It was my favorite part of the film too, is listening to you. But there's lots more to talk about. Don't go away. More with the King of New Orleans Blues, Chris Thomas King, when Washington Full Circle returns. Welcome back to Washington Full Circle. I'm Furman Patterson, here with our special guest, blues guitarist Chris Thomas King. Now, blues is a special thing to you, so is the jazz. But there are a lot of terms that we've been talking about as sort of interchangeable. Explain the difference, blues, jazz, folk, blues.
Well, I think blues and jazz, like you say, are interchangeable. It's kind of like referring to rap and hip-hop as being two separate genres when obviously they're not. So blues and jazz really is the same thing, just referred to differently. The main difference though, when I'm announced around the world when I'm performing as a blues musician, the thing that frustrates me is that the real meaning of the blues has been a little bit lost, and people think that I'm coming to make everybody sad, and I'm going to make everybody depressed, and you know, I mean, it's hard to sell that kind of product, so to speak. I'm not a product, but I'm just saying. But at the same time, people have lost the understanding that the blues originated in New Orleans, in South Louisiana, and Louisiana is a French colony. And so Jelly Roll Martin and a lot of those folks were Creoles, and their first language was really kind of a French. But blue meant that it was blue entertainment, or that it was subversive.
Risque.
Yeah, risque, you know, a little sensual, you know, unfit for polite society. But at the same time, this music left Louisiana and went to Chicago in the 1920s, and inspired a lot of other musicians that came to Harlem in the 1920s and took Harlem by storm. And the blues, it's that music that allows you to have that freedom of expression. You know, it allows you to, which we call improvisation. It allows you to have that pursuit of happiness. You know, like one of the old presidents talked about, that he wanted the 4th of July to be this, you know, this pomp and circumstance. And
right.
We try to do that every Saturday night, you know. We try to celebrate the 4th of July every Saturday night. But the real meaning of the music became the word blues. It antagonized, like, you know, a lot of people who didn't want that music to be America's quintessential music. They would prefer more of an opera singer or something, but that's European.
Right.
You know, this is American derived, and so there was a push against it that made it a pejorative to be called a blues musician. and then so people kind of moved a little bit past it. They started calling it jazz, or you can call it rock and roll, but it's really just the blues by another name.
Right. You know, speaking of blues, when you entered film, you didn't just enter it in a little way, you entered it big. You know, we looked at Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, but another film you were in, the award-winning Ray, the life story of Ray Charles, you were in that also and did some number of things, but we'll talk about it in a moment, but I want you to take a look at this clip from Ray.
Hey, what's the ass, Jack?
Oh, my
Some
goodness.
skin.
What's up? Hey, how you doing?
Oh, man.
Lil Fulsom, meet your new piano player, Ray Charles.
Ray Charles, the blind sensation.
Ow! Damn. We'll use that on the album cover.
No, man, he's really the sensation. I love your music, Mr. Fulsom.
Hey, the man's got taste. Hey, and the man ain't been on the road with a band before, so now you take care of him. Like my own brother.
Now you got some acting chops there.
Well, you know, I mean, it's pretty intimidating, you know, being, you know, in scenes with Jamie. But I have to say that, you know, I did the score with Ray Charles, which was really amazing. You know, watching and working. I spent a week at his studio. We did the music before the filming, and watching a blind man, you know, score a motion picture, sit next to Taylor Hackett, the director, taking instruction. Well, Ray don't like to do 2 takes, you know, so it's one take and that's it. And then they have to discuss it and get in, come do another one. And because it's dramatized, you know, it's not like a perfect thing. But that was incredible. That was, and speaking of blues, I mean, he is the quintessential, you know, I mean, that spirit that he had, a lot of people, like even in the movie, people were saying, the church people were like, you know, Ray is, you know, singing the devil's music and all this stuff here. Well, that's because the music is subversive. But, you know, he was singing the blues, you know, and but he sang country, he sang rock and roll. He could do it all.
But now we're going to hear you sing. Well, that's what we've been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to hear this.
Moonshine whiskey ought to be a crime. When I start drinking, I'm bound to lose my mind. My old brother down, getting me through hard time. Now what's that smoking? Yonder across the fields, look like our secret hideaway. You know, it had so many years. Now John Law done come and run us away from here. Burn down the liquor store, burn down the liquor store. John Law burned down the liquor store. Will it burn? For that bootleg whiskey, now where we gon' go? Working in the field all the hot long day, just thinking about the night we used to dance our blues away. But now I feel I'm drinking my own tears. You turn water to whiskey, that's what the preachers say. Lord, I need a miracle to get me through the day. The muddy waters come and wash my blues away. Burn down the liquor store, burn down the liquor store. Now John Law burn, John Law burn. For that bootleg whiskey, now where we gon' go? Now John Law didn't mind us having a little fun, 'cause when we made money, you know, he would get him some. The joint would rock till the morning come. But when the money got low, he took me off to jail because I drank all my cold liquor. You see, I had no more to sell. I ain't had no one to get me out on bail. Burn down the liquor store, burn down the liquor store. John Law burn, John Law burn. For that bootleg whiskey, where we go? so I had to go and see the judge. I said, good morning, Judge. Now what may be my fine, but when the judge tastes my whiskey, he didn't give me no time. He said, could you make me some more of your moonshine? Burn down a liquor store, burn down a liquor store. John Law burn, John Law burn. For that bootleg whiskey, where we going? For that bootleg whiskey, where we gon' go? For that bootleg whiskey, where we gon'?
Fantastic. I feel like I'm on the corner in New Orleans. Don't go away. There's more with Chris Thomas King Unplugged when Washington Full Circle returns. And welcome back to Washington Full Circle's House of Blues with our guest blues guitarist, Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I want to talk about your recording label. You have your own recording label.
Yeah, it's called 21st Century Blues, and I established it back in the mid-90s. And so far I've created a catalog of maybe, 200 songs, and those songs are used in movies and, TV programs all the time. And so I think a lot of artists are just starting to get there to do their own thing now, because the business has changed so much with, Spotify and, streaming music. But lucky for me, I got started a while back.
Yeah, and that's unusual. A lot of people just do the music, but you're doing it all, sort of. You're doing film, you're scoring films. When did that start? Was it with Ray, or did you always want to do that?
I didn't always want to do the business thing. I mean, to be honest with you, I like, the classic, rock and roll lifestyle. You know what I mean? Where you have somebody to wake you up in the morning and come and brush your teeth and all that stuff. But in reality, though, in the genre that I'm in, it's a slow burn genre. It's not a genre. I mean, for me to have sold so many records and have had so much success, that's an aberration. It really doesn't happen to artists, that come from the culture that I come from. Right. But it's more of a marathon for us, because it is a long career. If you are true to it and you continue to grow and give your audience, music that that enrich them, they'll stick with you.
Now, what would you tell budding artists who have that blues in their blood, but they're wondering if there's a market out there for it?
Well, once they get past that whole term, really they should think of music as just music, and all music is played on the same instrument, the guitar, the piano. And I would say, be true to yourself, and more importantly, I would say read everything. Be a reader. Read everything. When people tell you don't read something, that's exactly what you should go and read. So, because as you travel, and different, I've traveled the continent of Africa, used to live in Europe, Russia, China, Japan. Everybody don't read the same history. Everybody don't have the same point of view. So when you're in Thailand and you are trying to communicate with people musically and otherwise, it just helps if you have a broad way. You can't, the same jokes, people don't translate well, right. From country to country.
I know that.
So you have to, it helps to if you're going to write poetry or be a writer or communicate with people through music or whatever, it's good to have an open mind.
There you go. Well, you're going to communicate again with another song, but I'm going to say goodbye, but Chris is going to take us out. First of all, tell us what you're going to play.
This song is going to be from an album I recorded called Antebellum Postcards.
All right.
And of course, as we were talking about my label, all of my music is available you know, where people download music, Spotify, iTunes, and things.
There you go.
And this song is called Sketches of Treme,
Yeah.
an old neighborhood down in New Orleans.
Excellent. Hit it.
Tell me what's wrong with what I see. People on wind. Tell me what's wrong with what I hear. Everyone speaking so clear, yet their words never pass through my ears. Cause red rain, fire and fear. Tell me what's wrong with what I feel. Numb to despair and a thrill, as I lay here quiet and still. The secret is being revealed.